Thanks to a budget-designed smart car platform, Citroen has been able to position this 4th generation C3 Super Mini firmly at the affordable end of the small hatch segment. You'll need to like the squirrel looks and soft ride, but if you do, it's difficult to ignore this French contender.
It's telling that in a quarter of a century of history, the C3 model line has never offered any sort of even mildly sporty model. It's just never been that kind of car, and it still isn't now. You could argue, as we often have, that the comfort-orientated approach that this little Citroen has always pursued instead is the most appropriate one for a small hatch, which is, after all, going to spend almost all its life on the pockmarked streets of suburbia, which is fine, provided things don't fall to pieces as soon as you leave the city limits. The soft ride is very evident from the moment that you set off, even more so with this 4th generation model, because its comfort suspension features the advanced comfort hydraulic bump stops we've seen added to the damping system of larger Citroen hatches. The idea of these is to take the edge off the reverberations from sharper potholes and speed humps. Compact Stellantis Group Super Minis these days use either the conglomerate's CMA small car chassis, as does the Vauxhall Corsa and the Peugeot 208, or the organisation's more budget-orientated smart car platform, which is what features here and is also shared by the Fiat Grande Panda and the Vauxhall Frontera. Now, unlike the Fiat and the Vauxhall though, this C3 can be had in really simply engineered form with an unelectrified petrol power plant and manual transmission. The base 1.2 litre turbo 100 3-cylinder C3 variant in question might well be the pick of the range, with most of what you need and not much of what you don't. 62 miles an hour is dispatched in 10.6 seconds, and that's en route to 99 mph. Citroen, of course, hopes that you'll spend a bit more than that and get some kind of electrified C3, either the hybrid model, which uses a heavily modified 110 horsepower version of the 3-cylinder engine, aided by a little 28 horsepower electric motor, which is built into the casing of the car's integrated 6-speed dual-clutch auto gearbox, or the full EV EC3 variant we're trying here. Whichever of these two models you're first drawn to, and there is a strong case to be made for either one of them, we do also encourage you to try the other one as well. The hybrid performance figures are virtually the same as those for the unelectrified version, but its major attribute is that in town it can operate for up to 50% of the time on battery power alone. During deceleration in the hybrid, the petrol engine stops and the e-motor acts as a generator to recharge the hybrid system's 48-volt battery. The battery also stores the energy that's recuperated by the regenerative braking system. All of which might make you think twice about committing to the limited range of an EV, which in the case of this EC3 is pegged theoretically at 199 miles from its 44 kilowatt-hour battery. Still, if it is an EV that you have to have, this is one of the better budget ones. It doesn't feel very quick for a small EV, but the little 113 HP motor puts all the power through the front wheels that you really need. 62 miles an hour takes 10.4 seconds en route to 82 mph top speed. As we've already suggested, there's nothing about this car that really makes you want to drive it quickly anyway, despite its shrunken little Peugeot iCockpit style steering wheel. Those familiar with the C3 model line will immediately notice that this time around, curvy cuteness has been swapped for a boxier, crossover-inspired, more mature vibe. This may be what the market wants, but it potentially makes this model a much less distinctive and individual proposition. To try to preserve some of that, there are styling cues from the wacky Ollie concept car, an unusual bluff nose section with the brand's latest badge, and colour clip inserts on either side of the car, which allow owners to add swappable, contrast-coloured accents. Right, time to take a look inside. where it's nothing like any Citroen interior you've ever seen before. There are little red tabs stitched into the door handles, exhorting you to have fun and be cool. And in its own budget-minded, friendly way, this cabin here is quite cool. The brand calls it its C-Zen Lounge, which turns out to mean a two-level fascia with the technical elements above there and a cozy fabric-wrapped sofa design style section below. There's a pleasing selection of light and dark finishing, smart fabric fascia trimming, and a dinky little oval steering wheel, which, as with its Peugeot cousin's iCockpit dashboard design, requires you to look at instruments over its rim rather than through its spokes. Now, in this case, though, those instruments don't sit in a conventional binnacle. Instead, they sit in a narrow letterbox-like strip housing a small selection of digital readouts, and this is a layout that works really well. There's also lots else to like, primarily the well-padded advanced comfort seats with a smart two-tone design and extra foam support. Easily the best chairs you'll find in the Super Mini segment. And there's such a clever, simple touch, light grey finishing for the inside of the door bins so you can more easily see their contents. The iPad-style central screen is just the right size, as are the strange vertical vents which bookend either corners of the dashboard. Build quality from the Slovakian factory seems okay, and it's nice, even in this EV version, to have a proper key that goes into a proper key slot so it doesn't end up rattling around in a cubby somewhere as you drive. And there are some branded touches if you look for them, like the since 1919 heritage models which are inscribed onto the inner side edge of the glove box lid. This feels a significantly bigger car than the old Mark III C3 model, so time to see what the lengthier 2.54 metre wheelbase serves up in the back. These colour-coded D-pillar panels look as if they might be door catchers, but a conventional handle features instead. Once inside, a little disappointingly, rear seat legroom isn't really very much better than it was in the previous generation design. Still, it is vastly better than something like, well, for example, a Renault 5, and a 6-foot passenger could just about sit behind a front seat occupant of the same stature, and that's helped by the fact that you can push your knees well into these squashy seat backs. The boxy silhouette's extra 5 inches of roof height does mean useful improvements in headroom, and that would feel even better if the ceiling didn't dip just over your head there. We'll finish as usual with a look out back. Lift the light hatch and you'll find there's 310 litres of trunk capacity. Hardly amazing by class standards, but it's probably all you need. 5 carry-on suitcases will fit. Fold everything flat, and there is a step in the floor of the extended load bay, which in this configuration offers up a modest 1,188 litres of space. If you're prepared to forego the various electrified powertrains and opt for the base model's turbo 100 horsepower petrol unit, you can expect up to 52 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and up to 128 grams per kilometre of CO2. You may want to look at the hybrid 110E DCS6 version, which can improve those figures to 56.5 mpg and 114 grams per kilometre of CO2. Benefit in kind taxation for the hybrid is rated at 28%, compare against 31% for the Turbo 100 version. Either way, it's substantially above the 3% rate that you'd pay for an equivalent EV. This C3's hybrid petrol engine has been optimised for efficiency, and it operates in the Miller combustion cycle. This thermodynamic cycle is enabled by the variable geometry turbocharger, which enhances performance at low RPM and variable valve timing. A belt-driven starter combines with the e-motor to start the petrol engine from cold. The belt starter also restarts the engine quickly and seamlessly while you're driving. If you really want efficiency in a C3 though, then you'll need the E-C3 full electric variant. The 44 kilowatt hour battery is supposed to be able to take you up to 199 miles between charges. There is no heat pump available though to preserve range in cold weather, and not even as an option. Citroen claims that the EC3 is capable of rapid charging at rates of up to 100 kilowatts. That's a very modest speed, which allows for a 20 to 80% charge in 26 minutes. At home, you'll be able to 20 to 80% charge from a 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box in just 4 hours 10 minutes. If your property has a 3-phase supply, you'll be able to use the optional 11 kilowatt charge system, in which case the 20 to 80% charging time will be just under 3 hours. You might not be immediately drawn to the squarical looks of this 4th generation C3, and its unusual dashboard is something of an acquired taste, but all may well be forgiven when you check out the budget value pricing. With this little Citroen, Stellantis seems at last to have worked out how to make a Super Mini for sensible money, and that is a very welcome development. Like its predecessor, the ride is set up to be softer than the Super Mini norm, and for us, that's welcome too, given the potholed urban environment in which a typical C3 will operate. Plus, it's very decently equipped for the money, and it's quite customizable as well. Yes, there are more polished contenders in the segment, but they cost a lot more. Are they worth more though? Well, after a look at this very Gallic offering, you might wonder.